If someone had just put together a Skyline with no AC and wanted to, I don't know, let's say do some hot weather testing, my first suggestion would be exactly what the owner of this R32 GT-R has done. He began his drive in Cold Lake, Alberta, found his way through Edmonton, the Rocky Mountains, down here to Vancouver, and his final destination's on the island. So I took him for a pause. We're pausing here for a moment. We're gonna drive his R32 GT-R. Yeah, I've never met him before. We're gonna go for a drive. We're gonna talk to him, see what's under the hood. I've driven a bunch of R32 GT-Rs, not one in a very long time though. So we'll see how this one kind of stacks up. I might do a POV style video and just give you guys like the full experience. It is hot out today, so hopefully we can leave the video in one piece, but let's go for a drive.
Hi, my name is Adel. This is my 91 R32 GT-R.
First, take me through the drive. I know, like, you messaged me last night looking for a an AC relay. We kind of did a bit of a trade. You gave me this hat. I'm not gonna say no. How was the drive overall?
Man, it was a pilgrimage. You know, comparable to the one Christ and Columbus did for sure, but it was brutal. No AC, no cruise control. You know, 40-degree weather, high elevation, car wasn't happy. Kind of had a few mishaps, crashed my front lip twice. Yeah, so everything's a little pushed out of place, but car made it, I made it. It was a long drive, 14, 15 hours. So. Wow,
so yeah. During the drive, your eyes are just pinned on what, like temperature and all that, or no? Like, did you have full faith in the car that I mean, you don't make a drive like this without at least kind of knowing that it's gonna make it.
I didn't know actually. The furthest trip I've made before this was 150K. So this one's 10 times the trip. I had an idea that it would make it, but I got a trunk full of parts and tools. So I was kind of prepared, but not really prepared for the heat. So I pulled over in cam loops. I fell out of the car like I just got back from war, and tried to get some help, and enjoyed the trip after cam loops. You know, it cooled off a little bit. Then there's that 120 km/h highway, which I've never been allowed to drive that fast, so I just forgot how to behave. I enjoyed it, you know, hilly and valleys and twisty, and it was a lot of fun. Gone through a couple different changes, couple different iterations, I guess. It's by no means perfect, but I definitely enjoy it. I beat on it. I have fun with it. You know, I drive it. I'll never get rid of it. So I have a Mark IV Super as well.
Nice.
Twin turbo manual, but they're overrated. They suck. I hate it.
Wow.
I haven't fallen in love with it yet. It is fairly stock. It's in not great shape at this point. Just picked it up. Yeah, it's loud enough to wake the dead, pretty slow. So not my favorite car.
You're one of the first people I've heard say that. I mean, you ask me, yeah. I'll take 32, 33, 34 GT-R over a Mark IV Supra all day.
100%, yeah.
They're great cars, but they just don't, there's a precision feel to these cars that it doesn't have.
The engines are cool. I don't think anything else around it. Again, mine is stock, but I had this one fairly stock, and this one was a lot more fun to drive.
Can we pop the hood?
Sure.
So you got this one, you said stock?
So it had an exhaust and an intercooler, same as the Supra right now actually. So I got a carbon hood that doesn't fit perfect. I also, like I said, I bumped the front lip and kind of threw everything out of alignment. But you know, carbon, obviously you can see where I got some rocks and stuff here. Left the center carbon so it can fade nicely.
Looks nice. Yeah, exactly.
This car, like, I only deal with one shop, Speed Tech Racing in Edmonton. Jesse, Amanda, Matt, he's a tuner, and there's a couple other guys there that I don't know yet, but he's always done me really well. So I just kind of got this back together in November. This is my second engine setup, I guess. The first one was, like I said, fairly stock, just an intercooler, intakes, exhaust, and then went with some upgraded twins.
Nice.
Wasn't super happy with it, you know, made around 440 wheel. Now, you know, I went with the Precision 6466 Gen 2, twin scroll, jet fighter housing, 6-boost manifold, bunch of PRP stuff, a few little custom bits, some belted oil pump parts, and head studs, ECU master, ECU or EMU black. Twins are fun, but I think big single 500 wheel is how they're supposed to be, you know.
Yeah.
I did the wastegate recircuited downpipe. I think the atmosphere is obnoxious personally. I know some people disagree with me, but I don't care. That's what I like. So I did some NK RS05 RRs, 18 by 10 plus 22, which I found out right away doesn't clear the stock brakes. So I had to run a spacer for a while, and then when I did this setup, I did a Willwood 6-piston front and some bigger rotors, and I didn't have to run the spacers. So
nice.
Yeah, it works.
You still have Hikes? Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, hopefully you guys can hear that. That is a precision turbo with what some might call a T51R mod. So it's got the fighter jet noises. I wanted to keep the window down for you guys to hear it, but you can hear it clearly right now as it is. Does not matter. Factory transmission. Obviously 5-speed because we're in an R32. The RB26 is just so good at so many things. It's good at low down torque depending on your setup. It's good in the sound department, but it also revs. Super smooth. I mean, 4,500 and below even. That's kind of when you get turbo spool real strong. It's so smooth. It doesn't actually really kick you too hard. I'm hoping audio is okay here, but roll into it. 4,000. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Clutch is nice. It's actually really easy to drive. I feel like it's at a good power level where the street drivability is not too compromised. I mean, yes, I mentioned, Adam messaged me right before the shoot last night and was like, hey, I need an AC relay. Are you able to find me one? Luckily, I was able to find him one. That is, yeah, insane. Thanks, Will at Autodromo, for that. But I don't think that solved our AC problem. Also, this car just having been on a 15-hour road trip, I don't want to be the cause of the car not making it back to Alberta. Just so smooth without a screamer pipe. Transmission's a little bit sticky. It's definitely showing signs of age, absolutely. Pretty straightforward setup though, nothing crazy. He's actually not running E85. This is on pump gas here. Way smoother than I thought. Usually, as soon as you go big turbo, not even just a single turbo, in an R32 GT-R, generally what I've felt is, yeah, you still get a steep ramp up of torque. You get that big bang, that big hit of torque in your spine, and then you get to rev it out and feel the cams at the top end. But here it's really smooth. I mean, like the spool lasts for a long time. It's not, you know, it feels like it still has more to give. Plenty of good noises. We're running about 18 pounds of boost, if I remember correctly. Hikes is gone here. lot of people get rid of HICUS. I mean, if it's like your GT car, if it's close to stock, I would have a tendency to leave HICUS in. My R34 has HICUS. I love it. It makes a good smooth driving experience, especially on the highway. A little less steering input and whatnot. But I could see higher horsepower. You know, the system wasn't really designed to handle so much horsepower. And then he also has a controller for the Atessa system. So, of course, Atessa electronic torque splitting front to rear, rear bias system. It'll send torque to the front if it needs to. Here we can actually adjust that. Feels super planted. One of the few 90s car, well, I guess 80s cars, but 90s cars that isn't over boosted when it comes to the steering. The steering still has tons of weight, tons of feel. Ride smooth too. I mean, this to me, maybe I'm being conservative, but is a great power level. I think you could, I mean, he could easily, with this setup, squeeze another 100 horsepower out of it. Built bottom end, the turbo wants more. And boost starts hitting right around 4,000, which is high up for a lot of people, but I just don't want to manhandle this gearbox too much. I feel like either a couple of the synchros are going, third gear synchro. Sometimes going from second to third, it doesn't really want to go out of second, especially at higher RPMs, but all right. Just the best. You know, as R32s and GT-Rs specifically have become more out of reach for most people, they've got expensive. And then even if you're able to get in one, the parts are incredibly expensive. It's made the experience more special, especially for a higher horsepower car, and they become a little bit more difficult to come by, and especially having a car that goes up in value, you inherently just bring in more collectors, effectively, you could call them that, that get in maybe a close to stock mint example of a car and then just hold on to it and, you know, occasionally drive it, but keep it stock and keep it kind of OEM and fresh, which then makes it more difficult to get your hands on those cars to quote unquote molest them and kind of make them your own. And it's a simple car. It's an old car. It's an 80s car, right? And it feels it. It's got the fresh feeling of a new modern turbo and a great power band. I think Adel went the right direction here and not sticking with the twins. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Adel, for bringing the car out. Really appreciate it. Good luck on your drive home. If you guys want to go check him out, the link will be in the description for his Instagram. We'll see you soon. So I was warned before driving that the trans was on its way out, and a few hours after the cameras stopped rolling, Adel actually messaged me saying he found a local GT-R transmission and was getting it replaced that day. So I guess as far as road trip catastrophes go, it could have been a lot worse. We'll see you soon.